John Kohler here is a walking seed. Is like a seed bank. You talk to this. Really, you ask him about certain vegetables, or herbs, or things that are growing in the garden, and rapid fire will tell you why they're good for you. Whereas myself, I have to reread every year the nutrients in kale, and I do every year reread the nutrients in kale. What are some of your favorite things to grow, John?
I mean, my favorite things to grow are leafy green vegetables and herbs. They're a lot easier to, like, if you grow a tomato. I mean, some people eat tomato leaves actually, but I wouldn't. But you have to wait until it like makes all the leaves, and then it makes a fruit, and then the fruit actually ripens, and hopefully no bugs or pests or hornworms or any caterpillars get it. But on the leafy greens, you literally plant them, and even if they're just what's called microgreens, which are the most nutritious greens on the planet, which could be done in as short as 10 days, you could be eating what you grew. And so the greens are the most nutritional powerhouses on the planet with the least amount of calories, and they're the most disease protective, and that's literally why I got into growing, because I almost lost my life when I was younger.
So, with other leafy greens, or just brassicas in general, are you eating leaves off of broccoli? Are you eating leaves, the auxiliary leaves off of your cauliflower, or are you growing them true and waiting for the head?
Any leafy green is fair game in my garden, and actually I don't, on broccoli, actually I don't necessarily grow it for the flowers. I don't really care about the flowers. I just want the broccoli greens that are much more valuable, and I think it's really sad how many growers just will grow the broccoli, they'll cut the broccoli head off, they'll sell that at a farmer's market, then all the greens are just sitting in the field. Hopefully it goes to fodder, but I met one company that actually harvests, after they harvest the broccoli, they go back in and harvest all the broccoli greens and turn them into kale chips for a value-added product. And so, like, I had to harvest all my brassicas because it's been in the 90s, and actually probably this weekend's going to hit 100 in Las Vegas, and I just made kale chips that are broccoli or brassica family green chips, whatever it was. I don't really care. And I brought them with me on this trip so I could, eat my food that I grew in my garden, even though it's past
You
the
can
season.
basically turn any of those leafy greens into a chip, a crisp.
Or a green powder.
Collards, which have a very strong flavor, give you a really good sense of what a green chip is going to taste like. Um, what are some of Springfield's favorites to grow? I mean, as a seed library, what are the statistics? What are
I have
people
to
checking
say,
out?
in our seed library, tomatoes and peppers go very fast. But I mean, keep in mind, I would have to say I'm as far as a seed saver, I'm very amateur compared to you guys right now. As far as myself, but for what we have in our collection, I would have to say that, yeah, definitely the tomatoes and the peppers, and then the basil would be another one. I would say that people go.
Basil is popular all the world around.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
it's universal.
It's probably one of
And
the
as
easier
as
things.
an amateur, we are equals. Being when you're on the path, it doesn't matter if you're further on the path or just starting on the path. We are all on that path. And at the end of the day, it's skill share, knowledge share.
Yeah.
I mean, John has these videos. They're free online. He gives this information away for free. You guys are giving your seeds away for free. You're donating your time when you talk about what you did to grow that tomato to make it sweeter or whatever you did. You're offering this for free. We are not here getting paid by the hour to speak about this. We're here to talk to you and to try and encourage you to get off the couch, grow something, and if you're even being cheekier, to talk to a neighbor, start a seed bank or a seed swap. Eugene here, from where are you from, Eugene? Lake of the Ozarks approached me last year about wanting to start a seed swap. And as I was saying, it's as easy as getting your friends together. It doesn't have to be grand. It doesn't have to be 1,000 people. It could be 10 people. It could be a small garden club, and it's people who probably wouldn't talk on the street, But when it comes to when the seeds are on the table, we're all equal.
One of the things that we did also is, if you decide to start a seed library, is look at your community entities too. If there's a master gardener group in your community, or if there's a gardening club, pull together, contact them. And I mean, you can work together even if you're just a community group or a church group. I mean, the one thing that I have always felt is that gardeners are the nicest people. and you can talk to them anywhere, and they'll just tell you what's going on in their garden. And so by doing this, you'll be surprised at how quickly people will get excited and want to be involved with what you're doing.
You're preaching resources, and that's fantastic. Library is like the number one place, anytime I go to travel, to look for local resources. If I'm staying for a while, it's your best place to find out where the local events are happening, where poetry readings are going on, where local music is being played, or authors are going to be appearing. So identifying who your resources are. If there is an existing seed bank or seed company, at the end of the year, those seeds expire. Learning what your resources are. Also, learning to pass the money hat around without guilt and without shame. When you are grassroots, it's not sustainable if you're paying for everything out of pocket. So one thing I had to learn was to be able to pass that money hat and look people in the eye and be okay with asking for money. I don't like asking for help, but at the end of the day, it wasn't sustainable for me to pay for everything. And you have to learn to ask. So identifying your resources, whether it's another seed repository, if it's a bigger brother, which would be the Springfield Seed Library if you're in the area, or...
Well, and also, if you decide to start a seed library, contact your public library, as you're saying. One of the things that we do, you were talking about programming, is that tied into our seed library is we have garden programs. So when we unveil our seed library collection is available from March 1st to August 1st. But we have gardening programs going on throughout the year, so it kind of ties together. And we're not the only ones, library staff aren't the only ones giving the programs. We reach out in the community to the different entities and have different folks come in. And you were talking about funding, asking, passing the hat or whatnot. We have a flyer that lists the varieties that we are specifically looking for our core collection. And so that way, if somebody wants to donate seeds or donate monetary funds, they can do either. So
They can just buy the seeds for you, or
donate funds.
sponsor
Yes.
a collection.
Yes, sponsorship.
That is fantastic.